Howdy, Trey here with Permian Exotics. Today we're going to be making a BioActive GBB enclosure. Alright, well let's get started. I've got a bag of my substrate. This is my red blend, and it was designed with temperate species in mind. I also have a few pieces of driftwood, as well as a couple of succulent plants. The enclosure is an acrylic display case that I picked up at Hobby Lobby and modified. So here I'm pouring some of my substrate into the enclosure. As you can see, it's made up of a lot of different components. I include Fuller's Earth in my mix, which is a wonderful calcined clay product that creates a lot of surface area for microbes to live on. Alright, I'm adding some more substrate to the enclosure, and I'm looking to achieve a depth of maybe about 2.5 inches. I'm just sifting through the soil, looking for bigger chunks of bark that I may not want to include in the finished terrarium. Alright, that looks good. Let's move on to hardscaping. I've got this piece of driftwood that I really like. The texture and the color is just awesome. It's going to add some really nice interest to the finished terrarium. I have this second piece that I collected from my farm. I'm going to add that as well. It's important, especially for a GBB, that you really anchor these pieces of wood well. The spider is sort of arboreal, so it's going to utilize the vertical space and use these as anchor points for web. I like the look of this as is. I'm not even going to use this piece of cholla. Now that the hardscape's done, we can go ahead and move on to planting. As you can see, I've already exposed the root ball of this plant, and I'm going to go ahead and plant it here. Just want to make sure that the root ball is completely covered and deep enough. Now I'm getting a second hole started for my other plant. And again, this one has had its root ball exposed, and I'm again burying the root ball nice and deep and adding substrate to surround it in order to ensure that it's anchored well. During planting, I knocked over a piece of the wood that was under this big piece of driftwood, and I decided to change the orientation in order to make it a little bit more secure. Now I'm adding leaf litter. This is going to give my springtails places to hide, as well as eventually act as a fertilizer once it begins to decompose. I'm also adding the leaf litter because it's aesthetically pleasing. It acts as ground cover to cover up the base substrate. And now I'm adding temperate springtails. These are fungivores. They're going to eat mold and fungus that grow on the decaying plant matter, as well as the spider's boluses and fecal material. And here we are. Here's a photo of the finished terrarium. As you can see, there's a water dish as well as numerous points that this spider can anchor its web to. And here's a close-up of tiger butt in its new enclosure. Thank you for watching. Please check us out on Facebook at Permian Exotics, as well as Twitter and Instagram. Please like, share, subscribe.